Hi everybody, welcome to day 26 of the 30-day music mini challenge. I apologize tremendously for the delay in this video. I have been hard at work on a new website, which I hope to tell you all about once it's up and running. And I've also been hard at work on some materials that I hope to share with the Diverse Learners website, which just got launched on May 15th, which is all about helping music educators understand special needs and how to work with them specifically when it comes to music. So stay tuned for more information about that. Today's challenge is visualization. Visualization, I think, is really underestimated, underappreciated, underrepresented in the music community as a whole. Some of us do it a lot, which is great, and some of us don't do it at all or not nearly enough. And so what exactly is visualization? Many of you know already or do it with sports or other activities. It's basically visualizing, using our mind's eye to see what we're doing in the most detail we can about what it is that we're trying to accomplish. So for music, it's about imagining yourself playing, and in as much detail as you can, and imagining yourself playing beyond your wildest dreams. You know, have a real good solid picture of your ideal self playing ideally. And the more you can visualize and really think about every detail, the more that will help improve your playing. So I can tell you that I've had experienced this firsthand. When I was at Boston University Tanglewood Institute for 2 summers, the first summer, I was in a room by myself. It was phenomenal. And I got so much improvement and so much out of that summer. And I think primarily because I didn't have a lot of distractions, particularly at night. And I visualized nonstop in my room. I was looking at my music after hours, and I was pretending to play even though I couldn't actually play. I was working on fingerings. I was thinking about how I wanted to sound. I was hearing the piece in my head and putting it all together in my head. And by doing that, I probably had my biggest growth in my life that particular summer. And I continued that, whether it was long car rides to auditions halfway across the country, or it was hotel rooms where I couldn't necessarily play, particularly if it was late at night, or right before bed when I was trying to imagine, a performance or a lesson or whatever it was that was my end goal for that particular moment. And it made such a big impact on me. And a lot of professional musicians also utilize this skill, and they're constantly thinking, breathing, everything music, right? And so although that doesn't need to be all of us, certainly visualizing, having that idea of how you want to sound, feeling how it feels to do something really, really well can certainly help you in your art. There's a famous basketball study out there where they had multiple groups. They had a group of basketball players that did no practice, and this was all regarding improving their free throws. So they had the group that didn't practice at all. They had the group that just practiced, nonstop practice for whatever. They had a certain allotment of time each day. And then they had another group visualize. So they never picked up a basketball. That was it. They just thought about it. And for the same length of time as the people practicing. And they had a group that did both. And what they found was the group that didn't practice obviously didn't improve. The group that practiced exclusively and the group that visualized exclusively did basically flat the same. Both groups improved by I think 23 and 24%, but it was 23-24%. Visualizing is that powerful. Now you have to get your skills to a certain point. If you're a beginner and you've never touched a flute before, it may not work as well, as someone that actually knows how it feels and really, has a good sense of how it feels. But most of you watching, you know how it feels to play your instrument or to sing. And so it's just about really visualizing and hearing and seeing yourself doing that goal, right? And of course, then in this study, the people that did both did the best. The people that had that combination of visualizing and actually doing it. So it's really important to visualize. So that's your challenge, to visualize. Right before bed is the most perfect. That's your bonus challenge. If you can visualize right at bedtime, your brain will process in a lot more depth from, and I'm not really sure what the research is out there, the actual research, but I know certainly there's a lot of people, people that have said by going to bed, really thinking about something, then they wake up the next morning either having the answer to whatever problem it was, or they have a better idea. I mean, God knows, when we sleep on it, right? When we sleep on an idea or a problem or a situation, things tend to be clearer in the morning. And so for many reasons, right? But also your brain is still processing. So if you can visualize right before you sleep, while you're lying in bed, that is the most ideal. Another form of visualization is to pretend that you are an act. Try to embody a famous musician or someone that you want to emulate, someone you want to play like. That whole fake it till you make it kind of idea. And that there's a certain amount of power in that as well, a kind of different kind of visualization, but kind of putting yourself in a different frame of mind. And what that can do is it can put you in a different mindset. It can put you in a different confidence level. And, it can then, that skill can then, whatever it is that you're trying to do better, can become a part of who you are, right? That fake it till you make it, and then even better, fake it until you become it, right? So there's certain things in my life that I've definitely had to fake over the years. And now a lot of those things have become just part of who I am. For example, I have been known to be a little fiery. Must be the hair, particularly in my youth. Fiery. And over the years, I've really tried to embody something calm. And it's been a lot of faking calm when I don't feel calm. And now I consider myself a pretty calm, chill person. So the power of visualization, the power of faking it till you make it or fake it till you become it is not to be underestimated. And one more quick thing. In the past video, I mentioned to you that it'd be great to go outside of the box and listen to Bartók's music for strings, percussion, and celeste. I hope you had a chance to listen. It's certainly a challenging piece for those of you that have never heard that tonal language before, or heard music in a vein that, like purely for listening standpoint, that wasn't necessarily there to just make you happy, or to make you feel good or relaxed, or like, something that might have brought up some emotions that were kind of gross, or uncomfortable or awkward. I'll never forget when I was an usher for the Minnesota Orchestra. They played this piece, and then they played it again. And that was way too much for some patrons. I heard quite a bit of griping in the hallway afterward, and there were quite a few people that just walked out when they decided to replay the piece. And they replayed the piece because it is a different tonal language, and you do need more than one attempt at hearing it. They didn't explain that very well, so it kind of became torturous for some of the patrons that they were used to music being sweet or exciting or calm, not uncomfortable. And so I hope you got a chance to listen to it and think and speak objectively about it in your mind or with someone else. And to give you some perspective, this piece was used in the movie The Shining. And if you've seen the movie The Shining, in these moments of discomfort, awkwardness, like just complete, like, oh, that timpani, that bow, just kind of hangs there and creates this mood that the movie would not be the movie without that music. I can go on and on about movie music, music for movies, and how music enhances movies, changes them. We know John Williams, right? Those movies would not be those movies without his music. Tremendously powerful. And so I hope you've had some experience and some work at that last challenge, thinking and speaking objectively. And I hope you enjoy visualizing. I look forward to seeing you soon.